I believe the home I have grown up in has some sort of negative entity lurking around the property and sometimes inside this home. My grandfather always said he's seen Native Americans show themselves to him day or night. My mother has seen and felt multiple different shadow figures throughout the house. Some actually frightened her so badly that she had to sit outside and decompress the emotions she just felt and even seen. Going back to my grandfather's experiences, he used to tell me these stories as a child. He also believes that the mounds in our wooded area behind our house are believed to be Indian burial grounds. As a child, I found this to be very interesting, and ignorance played into my truly terrifying experience that I am about to share. As a child, I loved the woods. I would spend a lot of time outside these woods to escape in a way. I would always see these mounds. They aren't super obvious but noticeable through the elevation change. One day, my curiosity got the best out of me. I grabbed a stick and started digging into one of these mounds. I guess my childlike sense of wonder wanted to see if my grandfather was telling the truth about the mounds. I managed to dig only a few inches down before the area around me started to get cold and eerie. It was fall at the time, so around me was already cold, but I felt the temperature drop very suddenly. Then I remember the crows, they were everywhere in the treetops. The crows got very loud and intense. The wind is starting to pick up. As all of this going on, I was stopped digging, and for a brief moment, I swear to God, I heard almost the sound of bones rattling beneath me. This is when I stopped in my tracks and ran back to my home. This has obviously stuck with me ever since that day. I can't remember my age at the time, but I was definitely under the age of 10. This is where certain things started to go wrong. Very subtly at first. First, the inevitable happened. My parents got divorced. I was roughly 11 at the time, but I won't get into the details of that situation as all is that private and forgotten and forgiven. Since then, though our house has started falling apart, my mother had thyroid taken out and from there has many health issues and complications started and is still going on, but nothing life-threatening. In my personal life, I have experienced a lot of mental health problems, resulting in the embarrassing clutter in my room, job hopping, and overall just feeling hopeless and chronically depressed, riddled with anxiety, so on and so forth. I'm working on these things right now. I have often found myself leaving this house specifically once to live with my father in New York from PA, and secondly, leaving to go live with my ex girlfriend for some time. It wasn't until recently that I have pieced these misfortunes to this home. We joke about being cursed. We joke about being cursed when the unfortunate occurs. But I'm starting to believe that maybe we are cursed from my carelessness as a child. I would not say I would not say that I am the cause of this, as paranormal things have happened to my mother and grandfather since before, way before I was even thought of it. But I do think I could have stirred up something. I believe making choices from a young age to leave the house has something to do with these possible curses. Going to live with my father was out of missing my father, obviously. But I was 11 or 12 at the time. Making such a big decision makes no sense to me now, being 24. Then me leaving at 16 to go and live with my ex girlfriend and her family, that was out of love for her. But also makes no sense as to why I would just up and leave. I have had nothing but love from my mother growing up, so there is no internal conflicts to run from. Moving in from that topic, we just recently had our roof redone. Within 2 weeks of having that totally redone, a tree lands right on top of where I rest my head at night. Thankfully, the roof was redone, or I would have been crushed my head first. These trees were pretty dead, but we have had 60 plus miles per hour winds previously before the roof being redone, and the tree never fell. Just so happens to fall when we get it redone. Super weird and off-putting, in my opinion. I could have write a book about this, but there has been so many other occurrences, paranormal behaviors, and a lot of unfortunate events in all of our lives. Since then, my old pup named Maggie that has passed a long story of her own. My other passed away dog named Louise also has its own story. So many things for this to be just a coincidence. Maybe it is though, and I am just thinking too much on certain things. But there is something that feels off to me, and I would like a possible explanation with steps to follow to help my suspicions. If there is someone who could help me possibly get rid of potential curse, please leave me a message. I'm not a huge believer with this certain topic of curses nor paranormal, but I must say I'm starting to believe with these experiences. Now that I'm slowly starting to believe, I started to think it is making me more prone to hearing and seeing things. I believe I'm empathic as I feel energy, and I'm able to tell if my friends are hiding in pain from me. I pray for you, bud, and I hope you feel better and your life being normal. Thank you for sharing the story.